We are going to study about pseudo forces. Now, first of all, why we are studying this? Pseudo forces help us to solve the problems, you know, easily. Pseudo forces basically means imaginary forces. Okay, they don't exist. To understand with the help of a simple example, let us say there is a body and the body is moving with some speed. It is having some acceleration. That means some force is acting on that. Now, is the body is in equilibrium means the body is not in equilibrium. You imagine in such a way that some equal and opposite force is applied. See, there is a net force acting on this body, that's why this body is moving. This is what is Newton's law, Newton's second law. You imagine some imaginary force which is acting in the opposite direction. Let us say 100 Newton force is acting from left to right. You imagine from right to left another imaginary force, can we say temporarily, for a very small amount of time, the body is in static equilibrium. The body is kind of equilibrium, it is at rest. This F dash force is non-existent. This F dash force is called pseudo force. It is basically an imaginary forces. Okay. So when we talk about pseudo forces, we talk about frame of references. So which frame of reference we are talking about, that we have to see. Usually we follow the Cartesian coordinate system, which has got x, y, z, but it too has a reference point origin, you know. So we will see in depth what is this frame of reference. The frame of reference basically are of two types. First one is inertial frame, the second one is non-inertial frame. So inertial frame is something like this. Imagine a train is going and there is a person inside a train, and this person, one more person is there, maybe his friend on the ground. So this person is at rest. So when I take the movement of this person with respect to the person on the ground who is at rest, or say for example you take a tree, with reference to the tree, this person in the train is moving, you say that this is an inertial frame. So here velocity is equal to, the reference point is this person. This person is the reference point. With reference to this, you are measuring this. So this person is at rest. Then it is an inertial frame, non-moving. Or if this person is moving with a constant speed, even then also it is called an inertial frame. Okay. So coming to non-inertial frame. Non-inertial frame is an accelerating frame. Okay. Now this accelerating frame can be in the linear or in the rotational way. So imagine there is a bus is there, and inside a bus there is a ball. Okay. Now the bus is kind of slowing down. What happens to the ball? The ball keeps moving forward, you know. It is still accelerating. Is it slowing down? No. So is any external force acting on the body? No. But then why it is accelerating? So here when you take this ball in the bus, you take the reference as the bus itself. The bus is an accelerating frame. So that type of frame we will call it as non-inertial frame. Even let us say a person sitting in a car is rotating around a circle. Okay. Now here the person is in the car and the car is actually accelerating. Even if you say the car is going with a constant speed, every moment the direction is changing. That means the velocity is changing. That means it's an accelerated frame. So even this type of example also will come under the non-inertial frame. For basically non-inertial frame means it has to be accelerating, and inertial frame means it is a non-accelerating type. So we come down to the point that inertial frame basically is a non-accelerating. Either velocity 0 or velocity is a constant value. Like that boy on the ground, the velocity either is 0 or he is moving the constant speed. So for when you take inertial frame of reference, Newton's first law is valid. But in the case of non-inertial frame, it has to be an accelerated frame. Okay, and here you see that Newton's first law is invalid. So Newton's first law says that to to bring to bring a body out of its inertia, you need to apply a force. But if you take the case of that bus in which the ball was there, the bus was slowing down. You are not applying any force on that ball, but the ball is still accelerating, right? So these two terms we need to clearly understand. So often we take a frame of reference. We need to see whether we are taking an inertial frame of reference or a non-inertial frame of reference. Simply put, let us say there is a trolley on which there is a ball. The trolley as a whole is accelerating with A1 and the ball is accelerating with A. So how does the person on the ground feel? He will feel as if the ball is accelerating not with A but A plus A1. This is what we have learned in these few slides. Okay. So let us understand this the concept of pseudo force with the help of a lift example. So basically, when you talk about pseudo force, see when I was talking about this inertial and non-inertial frame, suppose you are moving in a car. While you are inside the car, you don't feel any acceleration, you don't feel any force on you, right? But a person standing on the ground will be seeing you moving, and you're moving because there is a force acting on you. So while you are inside the car, when you take the car as the reference, what happens is the car is an accelerating frame. So it will be a non-inertial frame. But the person who is on the ground, that will be a inertial frame of reference. So see here, there is an elevator in which a block or a person is standing inside the elevator. Now we are trying to analyze the system. We will take two different scenarios. Case 1, where the frame of reference you take it as the floor. Okay, that means like the person in the car, you're taking the floor as the reference. And when you draw the free body diagram of this block, obviously there will be a normal reaction here. The weight of the man or the block here will be acting downward. It is mg. Okay, with reference, when you take the floor as the reference, the person or the block won't feel any acceleration. So here, if you apply the static condition sigma Fy is equal to 0, you get n minus mg is equal to 0, n is equal to mg. Now take another case where you have taken frame of reference as the ground. This is the ground. Now the person on the ground will be seeing this block moving with some acceleration, and that is A0, right? So here if you draw the free body diagram, let us say some normal reaction n dash is there, weight is acting downward, but the lift is accelerating with A0. Alright, so what is the net force? The block is moving upward, so n dash minus mg will be the net force, which will be equal to the mass into acceleration, which is A0, because with A0 acceleration it is moving up. So here you find n dash is equal to mg plus mh0. So here you are getting some value and there you are getting some value. Now is it possible? Is it acceptable? Here you are getting some value for n dash and here you are getting some other value for n. So which is correct? The second scenario is more realistic because the person is seeing the lift moving up from the ground. So this is more realistic. Then what is that we have done something wrong over here? So this is what I have explained in the next slide. If you apply some correction to case 1, that is, now this block is moving up, there is an acceleration in the upward direction. If you apply a pseudo force in the opposite direction, then this whole system can be considered in equilibrium. So in this situation, what happens? What is the net upward force? Only n. And what is the downward force? It is mg as well as ma0. So here n is equal to mg plus na0. Now n and n dash they are matching. Okay, so this is how you apply the concept of pseudo force. Okay, while taking the pseudo force, you can observe here what is the point of reference you have taken. When you are taking ground as the reference point, you are applying, you are getting that, you are directly getting the value. But if you are applying, if you are taking this floor as the reference, when you are taking non-inertial frame of reference, you can apply the pseudo force. Okay, a wedge type of question. The question reads, all surfaces are smooth in the figure. Find F such that the block remains stationary with respect to the wedge. So you have to find this force F such that this block on the inclined surface, this should be in rest. Now you see that this block, small m and capital M, these are connected together. So if you are applying force, you can get the combined acceleration as we have discussed earlier also. This combined acceleration will be A is equal to force divided by total mass. So it will be A is equal to F by m plus m, because it's a common acceleration for both. We will see this problem from two perspectives, two methods we will see. First we will take with reference to ground. The frame of reference will be ground, because here two blocks are involved. We have to take frame of reference. We will take ground as the reference. When you take ground as the reference, we need to draw the free body diagram of the M block. Okay, so the situation is something like this. You have an inclined surface. Here there is a block. Okay, now this block mg is acting downward, but normal reaction is acting like this. This angle is given as theta. So this angle will be theta, two parallel lines. So this angle will be 90 minus theta. Now here, if you take x-axis like this and y-axis like this n force will have a component in x direction. It will be n cos 90 minus theta, which is nothing but n sine theta. Okay, and in the upward direction it will have n sine 90 minus theta, which is nothing but n cos theta. So here you see that when you apply, let us say, because the block is not moving, you can say that it is in static equilibrium. So sigma Fy is equal to 0. That means this n cos theta and mg force should balance. This is our equation 1. And if the block is not moving, sigma Fx is equal to, the block is moving with net acceleration a. So sigma Fx in the x direction will be ma. So what is sigma Fx here? N sine theta. N sine theta will be equal to ma. Divide 2 by 1, you get a is equal to g sine theta. Okay, and originally F was total mass into acceleration. Acceleration you have found out. So total force is m plus m into g sine theta, g tan theta. This is one approach. In the second scenario, we will take a non-inertial frame of reference. That means the wedge itself. Remember that person in the car? Now you are taking the car as the reference, like this wedge as the reference itself. So whenever you are taking a non-inertial frame of reference, we have to apply a pseudo force. So here the block is moving right with acceleration a. So this is the pseudo force we have to apply in the left. Now you have to just apply the static equilibrium condition. When you apply the static equilibrium condition, sigma Fy is equal to 0 and cos theta is equal to mg, and n sin theta now will be equal to ma. So from here also you are getting a is equal to g tan theta. Divide 4 by 5, 4 by 3 You're going to get A is equal to G tan theta. And the formula was F is equal to, you know that F is equal to M plus M into A, but A is equal to G tan theta. So by both methods, you're getting the same answer. Whichever method you are comfortable, you should adopt that. But pseudo force helps solving the problem very quickly and very efficiently. Thank you.